Are you too focused on work and want to build relationships in and outside of work? Are you finished your academic career and finding it difficult to make new connections and friends? Are you looking to cultivate your network to set you up for more opportunities? Then this video is for you. In today's video, we'll be sharing tips on building meaningful relationships after school and in the working world. We'll chat about your mindset and your priorities, strategies on where and how to connect, and you'll want to stay to the end where we'll share a few tactics to incubate your relationships. If you're new, hi, my name is Luki, and I create educational videos on jobs, careers, and life. If you're looking for some practical tips, advice, and life lessons, subscribe to stay up to date. When it comes to building meaningful relationships, consider a mindset of possibility and priority. For possibility, what if everyone you meet is a friend that you haven't yet spent enough time with? How might that change your interactions? Even if you're an introvert, that doesn't mean you have to have hundreds or thousands of new connections, and you can focus on quality versus quantity. Another key element to building meaningful relationships is priority. You might have made some close friends in university, maybe had some in high school, but as you start work, there's less time to hang out, more priorities in different areas. In school, making and keeping friends was relatively easy, based on proximity. You had classes together, went to clubs and events together. At work, it becomes more challenging to do so. After working, you might make some work friends, though outside of work, you have to be more purposeful with your friendships. You might luck out and have friends that call you out. And if you're not as lucky, then you'll need to initiate the effort. You can either hope or you can proactively plan. For me, after I graduated, I lucked out, and I had friends from both university and high school that kept in touch with me. I give kudos and credit to them, since if I didn't reach out, I'm sure I would have been much more lonelier. When we talk about your relationship mindset, I encourage you to make it a priority versus relying on luck. Perhaps not your top priority. Health and family might trump friends, though definitely put friends in your top 5 or even your top 3. Peter Drucker has a quote, "Tell me what you value and I might believe you. But show me your calendar and your bank statement and I'll show you what you really value." So that means if you value these relationships, put it on your calendar. Sure, some of you want to be spontaneous about it, and there's a concept called scheduling your spontaneity. Pick a day. Thursday evening from 7 to 10 p.m. That might be your day to go to the third event you find on Eventbrite or Meetup, or call up a buddy that you haven't met in a while. One interesting strategy to consider is to do a friend audit. Who are your friends and who should be your friends? Take a few minutes to brainstorm. Who are your current friends? Who do you currently hang out with? Folks from university, from high school, from childhood, your community, or from elsewhere. Some of these friends are long time, or some of them are newer. Some are close and others might be more casual. Take a quick inventory of your friends, and that would be helpful. Now, who do you want to be friends with? That can be a contentious issue. Shouldn't friends be organic? Perhaps, though if you do your part, then your side could also grow organically. If you don't do your part, then it might not. Jim Rohn has a quote, "You're the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with." If you hang out with successful folks, getting promotions, partners of consulting firms, or those doing purposeful and meaningful work, guess who you'll likely be. On the other hand, if you hang out with a bunch of dropouts that live in their parents' basement, guess who you'll likely be. The interesting notion is that you can be intentional about your current and future friends. And that doesn't mean you have to divorce your previous friends. Just spend 1 extra hour a week with those successful friends, perhaps 2, and 1 less hour with those less successful ones. So which friends do you want? And you can typically take a look at either your history, your work, your interests, or serendipity to make new friends. When I'm referring to history, I'm referring to your past. When you did your friend audit, you listed folks you previously spent time with. How about the folks you want to spend time with? Who do you respect? Who are you curious about? Who would you want to spend time with if you had a choice? What if you reached out to that person in first year that you only said hi to, and perhaps you heard that they got involved with some interesting projects? Maybe it's a friend or a friend of a friend that you are curious about. What about a connection of a connection? Someone that you heard had some cool or interesting hobbies? Another simple tactic would be to grab your smartphone, go to the text messages, and scroll all the way down to the oldest message and message that person. Now, make sure it's a person and not a multi-factor authentication or delivery notice, and say hi to that person. Give them something you recall about your past, give them an update, and that's it. Could be something as simple as, "Hi Lukey, it's been years since we connected. How's everything going with your coaching? I was reminded of you and thought I'd say hi. I'm currently making more content on YouTube to help folks with jobs, careers, and life, and I'd love to hear what you've been up to." You can even add, "Let me know if you're up for a coffee or for a virtual chat to catch up." And if you feel awkward in reaching out to these folks, why not join the Focus Inspired Academy, which is your gym for career confidence. Go deeper into these concepts and get group coaching to help. Check the link in the description box below for a free 1-month trial for supporting the channel. Now, back to the video. Do you want work friends? Yes, work friends are allowed, or hopefully you work in an environment where that is allowed. And if not, well, consider a move to a more supportive environment. For me, I have a bunch of friends from my previous workplace that I still stay in contact with. Some just over text and messaging, some just once a year for lunch, dinner, or coffee, and others multiple times a year or even more frequently. You can prioritize time by planning to go into the break room area or stop by someone's desk. If you're working remotely, schedule a quick 15-minute virtual coffee break with someone that's doing some cool and interesting things, or that you might want to spend some more time finding out about. You can allocate at least one lunch every week to go out with coworkers. Or if you've developed the relationship, you can even ask some to hang out after work or even on the weekends. Where else do you want to have friends? Perhaps in a particular area of interest or a hobby. If you're interested in learning, could you find some books or even take a course to find some other academic friends? How about Toastmasters for public speaking? If you're interested in sports, could you find a biking or basketball friends? I mentioned Eventbrite and Meetup, and on those platforms you can find a bunch of people that share your interests in just a search. It's up to you and your creativity, whether it's a community service organization like Kiwanis or Lions, your local board of trade or business association, or dancing or music or whatever your interests are. Start with your love or interest in whatever the group is meeting about, and then you can cultivate and nurture those connections. Consider also adding a bit of time every month or week to reflect on those relationships and interactions. In that last time out, what have you been doing well? What could you have done better or differently? And then plan to do both of those next time. One interesting area to build relationships is through serendipity. Serendipity is the occurrence and development of events by chance or in a happy or beneficial way. I was in a cafe to meet a friend and decided to have a chat with the barista as I waited. They happened to be a marketing student at a nearby university and was doing his job until he could find some other marketing opportunities. When my friend arrived, we were chatting about what he was up to, and they mentioned they were starting a new business venture to import gluten-free flour and was looking for help with marketing. Boom, lightning strikes. But that wasn't the only serendipitous part. So I asked him, "Hey, would you like to meet a marketing student?" So we chatted with the barista and I mentioned marketing for a new gluten-free flour brand. And he said, "No way. I was chatting with a friend who recently opened up a restaurant and they're looking to expand their menu to include gluten-free dumplings. And they were having trouble finding a good flour." That's serendipity in action. I've had many strong relationships and friends develop through a series of seemingly implausible fortunate events. Plus, I find that serendipity happens more when you're proactive about it. Milton Berle says, "If opportunity doesn't knock, build a door." Consider making more opportunities for serendipity to happen. Saying hi to the person that you don't normally talk to. Going to the event that would be helpful, but you're more comfortable to stay at home. Writing that post that you feel would be helpful and are hesitant to do so in case someone doesn't like it. Set aside 1 hour a week, or just one thing to do today to let serendipity happen. The more you put yourself out there, the more likely serendipity will happen. So there you go. To build meaningful relationships, change your mindset for the possibility and priority, do a network audit to consider who you are and who you should be connected to. Connect with your past, your work, and your interests, plus go out and seek serendipity. Remember to share this video with a friend and let me know if you have any questions or what you're struggling with in your job search or career, and feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. Don't forget to subscribe for more tips on jobs, careers, and life. And YouTube recommends that you check out these videos next. Until next time, be focused and stay inspired.